Oh, What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Dead Funny Podcast. I'm your host, Chris. Joined today is my co-host, Kelsey and JoJo. Woot woot.
I have fungus news.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Of course. How did I not see this coming? I know you said something about the fact you had something to talk about. How did I not, fucking picture this coming?
I have, 8 things to talk about, to be totally honest. I haven't been here 3 weeks, guys. This is what happens. But I will spare all of you because I received information from somebody who watches, somebody who knows me in real life that cornered me and went, nobody fucking cares about fungus, Kelsey. Please stop talking about it. No, it was not Scott.
Scott does not watch our channel.
Whether he wants to be or not. He married me on purpose, knowing that he's randomly going to get fungus news.
Right.
He undertook that burden for the rest of you. So send a nice thought towards Scott, guys, because I could be out there trying to marry you. Not. But no, it was not. It was a good friend of ours.
Oh.
Yeah, you know this person, JoJo. I will not say this person. They know who they are. If they're watching this, they know exactly who they are. But I will stop with the fungus news. Instead, I'll just tell you guys that I have fungus news and then not tell you what the news is.
Ooh. There we go. Comment section. If you want to hear Kelsey's fungus news, comment section. We talked about her.
In the comments and I'll totally tell you.
We've talked about her getting her own Doomsday Show comment section. It's down there. It's actually funny that you bring this up because I was watching. So I've got this YouTube channel I like to watch a lot where they started out with a top list type channel. And then they kind of really found their niche with scary, spooky shit. And one of the things they were doing was the top 10 things that, exist in Chernobyl that has mutated, and the fucking start off with fungus. And I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, even when Kelsey's not around, I can't fucking get away from the fungus news.
Yes, the fungus that's actually all over the giant elephant's foot in the center of Chernobyl that's eating the radiation. It's the only fungus that does that, I think, or it's one of the very, very, very few ones. And it's only found there because it's eating all of the radiation. So the radiation is actually dropping so much faster. I know, it's so cool, guys. Fungus is amazing. And I'm done. You brought it up. I'm not telling you my other fungus news. It's totally unrelated to Chernobyl.
I like how she decided that she was gonna put that one on me. She's like, if somebody else brings it up, then it wasn't me.
You opened the door.
I did.
You did? That's not on me.
Well, we got
if
a
anybody
lot.
wants to know anything about butt fungus, just let me know, because I got a great butt fungus story that is not personal before anybody asks me if I have butt fungus. I don't. Neither does my husband.
Was the news the butt thing?
Yeah, the news is the butt fungus.
Yeah, but that was the bugs, right? About the bugs?
No. This is new butt fungus. Totally different species. No, new butt fungus.
Sorry, I shouldn't encourage this. Never mind.
You shouldn't encourage it now.
I like how both of you are abort.
But yeah, we got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight on the podcast. But before we do that, we got to pay some bills. That's right. Dead Funny is officially sponsored. We've been sponsored by our fucking selves. That's right. This is a call to action. We have a merch store. You should go check it out. We also have a comment section below. You should check it out because you know what? I know most of our viewers and you assholes choose to stop watching about right before I go to do this at the end of the podcast. So now I'm going to do it at the beginning. Also, like our videos and share it around with your friends because we're fucking awesome. Anyways, now back to our scheduled program. So.
Butt fungus.
Butt fungus, yeah. So.
Sorry, I'm killing JoJo and having fun. Go ahead.
We were talking about comedians somewhat before. We were talking about being a comedian somewhat before the cameras came on. It was very, very, very short. We weren't really talking about it. It was like a stab at JoJo from Kelsey. But anyways, that being said, about him needing to save his jokes for the podcast, he's workshopping. So, that being said, I've gotten real heavy into comedian podcasts, stupid fucking heavy into comedian. I don't understand why anybody does the road anymore unless obviously that they just make significantly more money doing it that way. But holy fuck, it's almost every comic has their own podcast. Every fucking comic has their own podcast.
It is a lot.
Everybody has
fucking
their own
nuts.
podcast.
It makes sense. I mean, it totally fucking makes sense. If you got the fan base for it, fucking do it. I completely get that. So, obviously, I've said multiple times on here that I watch the Joe Rogan podcast. Well, he hangs out with a group of comics that I've gotten really into. One of them being Bert Kreischer. Fucking love that guy. It's super fucking
God,
hilarious.
yes, he's amazing.
Super. Seeing him do his stand-ups versus seeing him on a podcast, he is just such a sweet, gentle soul. Like, I love him so much. He is so amazing. I fucking love him. He's great. Tom Segura, I like his stand-ups are really good. They're nowhere near as good as like other ones that I've seen, which sucks because he's on a podcast, he kills me. On a podcast, he's so fucking funny, he kills me. But his stand-ups, like a lot of his jokes are kind of like hit or miss for me, which is kind of weird. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's Joe Rogan, and then they have somebody else. I want to say it's Ari Scheffer, but he's kind of... he's made some very questionable tweets.
I've heard that name.
Yeah, but he's made some very questionable tweets and stuff. He's the guy that you love to hate type situation, and he thrives off of it. That's just him. So, anyways, but listen to them like, and then Joey Diaz. I love Joey Diaz. That dude's fucking amazing. But listen to them like tell stories and stuff together, and like them starting as comics. And obviously, they all go to the same comedy place, the store or whatever the hell that is down in California and stuff like that. And they're all talking. Well, Bert Kreischer is like, he used to be like a heavy functioning alcoholic, like big time. And so they all got together and did like Sober October to get him healthy because they're all friends. So like, we'll all quit drinking for October, and he works a lot better on it now. Like he's a really like he's really trying to work on it, stuff like that. I think the podcast I was actually just listening to, he said something that I thought was interesting, which is he's worried that because he still drinks, he just doesn't get like as fucking anywhere near as drunk as he used to. He's cut back significantly, which is good. Moderation is good to learn. Mm-hmm. But he said something that I thought was interesting, which is, I'll never get rid of the voice in my head of like when someone is like, hey, let's go watch this football game. The first thing that pops up in my mind is, oh, cool, we can watch football and drink cocktails. Like, he's like, it's like, I feel like I can never get rid of that voice. Like, he's like, my daughter's like, oh, let's go out to eat. I was like, oh, cool, we can grab a table and get some cocktails. Like, every single time. And that was just a really interesting thing to point out. But that's not what I'm going on. I'm not going on about his drinking problems. Dude's an awesome person. Fucking check him out if you haven't. He's got some great stand-ups. If you want to see a fat guy on stage with the shirt off doing shit tons of hilarious bits, he's your guy. Netflix, go check him out. He's got like 4 or 5 specials on there. It's ridiculous. Yeah, he's fucking hilarious. But what I found interesting is that they started this Sober October thing, like I said, to help him out with his drinking problem. And they just kind of didn't want to give up on it, but they also didn't want to just continue just to do Sober October because he didn't have a drinking problem anymore. So now they use it to challenge each other to physical activities. So basically everybody puts money in, and, like let's say, for instance, it's like, run a mile every day, Well, if you end up fucking that up or you miss and you don't show your proof, then boom, you lose your money to the rest of the people who are still in the competition. And so they do that. The ultimate goal is not necessarily to win money, but to get everybody healthy and everybody stay healthy. And then they've even changed it to doing, like the last one that they were just doing was like ultimate life things that you would have never thought you would do before. Like taking classes and shit. So they did like boxing classes, spearfishing, hip hop dancing, which was fucking hilarious. Yes, there's a video, now that I know that Kelsey knows who Bert is, I am sending you, of his hip hop dance. Fucking phenomenal.
Please do.
Fucking and trust me, shirt comes off. Fucking phenomenal. So it inspired me. I was like, that would be really something cool, because like a lot of people got hit pretty hardcore during quarantine. I know I was one of them. My gym was shut down for a year and a half. All that other shit. I didn't really have somewhere to work out besides just doing the stuff outside, and I'm not a big fan of that to begin with, which isn't a good excuse at all. But I let it get to me. And I've got other friends that have done the same, and we all want to get healthy, so we want to do the same thing. None of us have a drinking problem, but we're going to choose to do it the same way they do, Sober October, and basically, that's what we're fucking moving on. So I think there's 6 of us total at this point who are going to be doing this together. We all got the same apps and shit downloaded. I think we're going to start out with a cardio. That was funny. That's one I want to point out, because I told him I was going to say this on the podcast, and he was like, you son of a bitch. So we're talking about what we wanted the first challenge to be, because we all had to agree on the challenge. We had to agree on the buy-in price, and I think we're going to start off with just like $100, because it needs to be enough to where like I can see me easily waking up out of bed and be like, fuck, if I don't run today, I'm gonna lose $25. Yeah, it's $25.
It has to be enough to get over
exactly.
your frustration. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was like, $100. I mean, I could still lose $100, but do I really want to lose $100? Not really. So
you'd rather get up.
I'd rather get up, exactly. And it's not so much for me because once I do like the first couple days, it's very easy for me to get that discipline in, and then I can just go off of that. I don't believe in motivation, so it's easy to just go off the discipline to where I have some friends I could definitely see going, nah, I'm not gonna fucking do it. I'm gonna phone it in. I'm not doing it. So yeah, we went through extensive ways to figure out how we could possibly cheat this system, and made it to where we can't cheat this system. Yes, that's basically been our entire setup so far. I was actually talking to somebody, and they're like, what are you doing? That's because they're like, oh, what have you been up to? And I was like, oh, not much, just planning for Sober October. And they're like, the fuck are you planning? It's like, what? And I was like, it probably makes no sense to what I just said to you. Let me explain. So anyways, so yes, there's a lot that's been going on behind the scenes of figuring out what it is. But it was funny when we were talking about the challenge. We haven't decided what we want to do yet. But I was using, because I'm the one that came up with the idea, I was like, I'm using the explanation of the cardio, the whole running 1 mile, like I said, let's say we run a mile Monday through Friday. We'll do something light for the first time. If everybody wants to continue to do it, then we can do it again the next year, up it, or I'll preferably move to a different kind of physical challenge so that way it doesn't get stale, and every year we can keep changing and changing and changing and changing. And so I was like, let's say we did like a mile a day Monday through Friday, so 5 miles within a week. It's not even close to that big a fucking deal at all.
No.
I was using that. I was like, all right, like let's say we did something like 100 push-ups a day. Joey instantly, like as that was leaving my mouth, yeah, I'm not doing that one. Like if we do the cardio, I'm down, but I'm not doing the other one. We do push-ups, I'm not in. Then I was just like, God damn, it's 2 seconds, and he was just on. No, I'm not doing that one. Nope, not happening. It's like, Jesus Christ. All of them started dying laughing. It was hilarious.
Be proud of him for having his like things I'm willing to do, things I'm not willing to do, and just that firm boundary in between. Like, good job.
I'm just proud that he wants to do it, because he started off with like, I don't think I'm going to do it because I'm really lazy and I don't think that I'm going to benefit from it. And I was like, that is the exact reason why you should do it, because you're lazy. 100% the exact reason why you should do this. So
was that just an attempt? You want him to do it so you can grift money out?
No, I could care less about that. I don't think Joey. I don't see Joey as someone that would tap out. Honestly, personally, there are some people that I think might tap out. I'm not going to name them because it's just kind of a dick move. But I could definitely say this much: I don't think Joey would be one that would tap out. And we're looking at like 6 to 8 people doing this.
So if you're one of them, probably.
I would say it.
It's not Chris. It's not Joey. There's 6 people.
I would say it if they were here to defend themselves, but not being here to defend themselves, I feel it's kind of a dick move. Yeah. So if they were here to defend themselves, I wouldn't care, because that's all we do is talk shit to each other 24/7 anyway. So it wouldn't matter. But yeah, I'm super fucking pumped. Just kind of getting stuff set up and ready. I'm really excited to kind of get back into the mode. Most of us are actually starting up our workout routines next week, and we're all on the same fitness app, so that way we can add each other and check on each other's progress and stuff like that. And yeah, trying to get nice and ready to. Hopefully, I hope we do something more than just 5 miles a week for Sober October, but I'm not going to push it. Like, I want people to get invested in it, and then from there, be like, oh yeah, this was fun. Let's do it again next year, and then we can up it. So,
yeah. I've been a part of some of those, like, hold each other accountable because we all want to accomplish this groups. But Chris, you and I are kind of similar, where for me it's about discipline, not about motivation. And I've found cheat ways through when I don't have, like, when I'm just like, I don't feel like doing this. I've found ways to like convince myself of like, just drive to the gym. Just do that. Well, now you're already at the gym, so just put on your gym clothes. Okay, well, you're here, you've got your gym clothes. Like, you've got 3 hours. Like, just walk. And well, okay, walking seems stupid now that I'm here. Well, then let's do something harder. Great. Like I have to like talk myself and
done that plenty of times myself. Yep.
And it's a rare thing, but it gets real awkward, because what normally happens for me is we're all sending pictures to each other of like us being sweaty and gross and being like, did it today and this is what I did, as just kind of like proof that we showed up and did the workout. And then after like a week, it's only me sending photos every single day to these people, and finally it's like, this is weird. I'm gonna stop, because now it's not fun. Like, it's getting shamey. Like, I'm still doing this and you guys aren't doing this, and I don't like the idea that people have of shaming other people into working out. that literally never works.
No,
Like,
not at
think
all.
of the things that shame has actually encouraged you to do, and it's probably nothing or only bad things.
Usually
And like,
negative.
yeah, usually negative. Shame is not an effective motivator, and for some reason, that's the only motivator we use for people that are trying to develop healthy habits, whether it's healthy eating or just moving more. Like, you don't necessarily have to go work out to be like healthy, but moving more is a great place to start if you haven't been working out for a long time. And yeah, shaming anybody into that is not helpful. So
No.
don't do that to your fellow friends, as I'm sure you know. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it honestly goes on both sides too. I mean, because there's definitely you have the people who do the healthy eating, and it's like, oh yeah, you guys should be doing this. Oh, why are you eating that? That's so bad for you. Da 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 da. All this other shit. And then it is the other way around, where it's like, fucking, well, what does it matter? Like at the end of the day, what is that gonna matter? You know, your fucking meal plan's not gonna fucking change anything. You don't work out or this or that. Just be nice, people. Just be nice. That easy. That simple. Encourage people. Encourage people.
Yeah.
I like that kind of stuff. Like there's tons of things where I can point out in my life. Like fucking JJ on the channel. I'll never forget the day he got his computer. He got his computer the same day I did. Something happened with his computer. He had to get a new one, and all his shit is way better than mine. Right out the gate, he's like, "Hey man, you know, I kind of didn't want to talk to you about the specs. I didn't want you getting jealous or anything." I was like, "Fuck, dude, I'm happy you have a fucking computer, dude. That's what's up. That's awesome. Let's fucking play something. Like, just fucking be happy. Just who cares? Who cares? If you're that upset about it, go to the gym. Done." A lot of that stems from you being upset because you don't necessarily. And once again, I'm talking from more possible my own ideals here. Not saying not everybody fits in this boat, but a lot of that does stem from the fact of like maybe you don't feel you have enough time to be able to do that kind of stuff, and that sucks. And some people don't have that much time to be able to do that, but it's more about trying to find what you can fit and make work within your own schedule versus being upset and raining on someone else's parade who's trying to do better and be better themselves. Now, once again, they're just being a dick about it. Yeah, and they're like, oh yeah, I fucking work out all the time. You never fucking work out. Yeah, that's a different story. Sure, if you want toxic to breed toxic, I mean, I guess be all you can be. I would just fucking cut that off. But you know, that's me. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a lot easier to look at somebody else doing better than you, and it's just, I guess it depends on how you were raised too. I mean, that's the reason why I look at it, the philosophy that I look at it the way I do is my grandpa always told me, in order for me to be a better person and develop, I need to surround myself with people who will constantly do better than I am. Because if I'm not surrounding myself with people who are constantly doing better than me, I'm going to be okay with settling with where I'm at. And sometimes that's not a good place to be. Because I definitely grew up hanging out with the wrong crowd, sitting around drinking underage on our front porch, doing nothing all day, blowing off school, not doing my homework. I mean, most of you, I don't even know if I ever said this, I failed a grade when I was in grade school because I just flat out just chose not to do homework. Just was like, nah, fuck it, I don't have to do it. I've made bad decisions, and that's when my grandpa told me that, and I was like, holy shit. And the friends that I have now, there's reasons why I have them. Joey, as I was just making fun of him, let me throw some fucking pride his way. Fucking dude's amazing. Like I easily one of the hardest working individuals I ever met in my life. I think the dude's 26 years old, has owned 2 different houses, 6 different cars, was a manager of his own fucking pawn shop, and now works with me, which is fucking cool as shit. I mean, dude is literally every day I've ever met him. Money, money, money. He's constantly wanting to do this. So then I would be hanging out with Joey and he'd be like, oh, let's go out to eat, Chris. Oh man, I can't. I don't have any money. It's cool, dude. I'll pay for you. That's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to a lot of people, and it was embarrassing to me, and I hated that feeling. So I wanted to make sure that I constantly had a job, so that when Joey wanted to go out and do shit, I could go out and do shit. I didn't have to be like, oh man, dude, and then he'd pay for me. So yeah, greatest advice I ever got as a kid, because I hung out with a lot of bad people. So really made me evaluate my friend group.
I'm glad your grandfather was able to say that in a way that you actually received. Like, that's one of those messages that could easily just, like, roll off your back and be like, you don't know the quality of people I'm around, and, like, I'm glad you were able to, like, evaluate and reconsider and go, you know what, this is worth my time and this isn't.
Well, one of the second things...
You're old. Get out of here. Good about that.
One of the second things that he added onto that, and I think it really was a lot more powerful, was the fact of we make bonds with people, and we hate to see those bonds either broken or disappear or whatever. Not everybody's supposed to stay in your life forever. That's not a thing. You have to constantly be evaluating who you choose to let into your life. Like, that's just a part of reality. There's just no way around that. If you're just gonna, hang on to this and just be the same old person and refuse to change and refuse to be somebody who can move forward and be productive, it's not going to work out well for you in the end. And whenever you have these situations where you have these friends who have gotten you into trouble time and time and time and time again, but you're just going to continue to stay in that crowd, it's like, evaluate, what are they doing for you? Because they're not in trouble with you. You're the only person, I mean, that year specifically, he's like, you're the only person in detention. You're the only person doing this. I don't see your buddies around with you, and they were doing the same shit. You're the only person that got caught. So, yep. Yep, reevaluated, made some moves, and like I said, best advice I ever got. 100%.
Good. Do you have any idea where they are now? I mean, I'm not trying to like shame them. I was just curious.
No, I know where one of them is, and I know that they have been in and out of prison multiple times. So.
Oh. Well.
And I do not have an arrest record, so.
Hey, look at you.
Made better choices, that was for sure. So, but yeah. Like I said,
JoJo's like, fuck, he's going to find out I have a gigantic arrest record.
Oh man, I'm not.
Hey, people make mistakes. Cool. I'm not against saying that people don't make mistakes. I get that. Everybody has to learn and adapt in their own way. We're all different people. We all process stuff differently. Completely understand that. Completely get that. To me, whenever it comes to evaluating people, whether or not they're worth being in my life, is whether or not they're wanting to better themselves and move forward as a person. I understand it takes different ways to get there and takes different time to get there, but just having the want and the need is enough for me to feel like you are worth me investing my time. And it might sound a little on the selfish aspect, but that's just kind of how I see things. Because I don't expect anything from anybody, but I'm more than happy to help anybody that needs it. I just got to be able to see that you want to put in the work. I don't want to see me waste my time on somebody that doesn't want to actually do it. So, yep. Like you lovely people. You're part of my circle. I value you guys.
This would be a real shit time to tell us that we're being kicked out. So.
Oh, hey, I'm out. Yeah.
Yeah. JoJo's like, I've gotten arrested so many times. I have no interest in development. It looks like I am on my way.
I've never done a crime that anyone has noticed. I mean, technically, I've done some cyber crimes in regard to, pirated materials, perhaps. Maybe. Yeah, allegedly. I'm not confessing anything here.
Oh man, that was one of our first Stream Team podcasts. It was the first time I ever had to download a bleep noise for one of our podcasts because Wes was going along the same conversation that you just were, and then went as far as to call out the specific website that he uses. And it was one of those things where it's like I couldn't cut it in a part that would make sense because James said something that followed right behind. And then Wes had a great joke for it because Wes is quick. Wes is fucking quick. I love it. So like he says the website and James goes, yeah, it also comes with a whole bunch of viruses too. And Wes goes, that's just fucking features, brother. That's fucking features. So I didn't want to ruin the flow of the joke. So I had to go and find a fucking bleep noise. So I literally messaged him. I was like, your first time on a podcast? Because you've been on a podcast with Wes. Yeah, me, you, and Wes did an actual funny podcast.
That happened.
Yeah. And, yeah, I texted him. I was like, your first podcast on Dead Funny. You maybe had to use a bleep noise for the first time. Congrats. He goes, that's a fucking win for me, baby. That's a W.
Yeah.
I say that feels like something Wes would put in his cap and be like, yeah, it's going to be a never have I ever the next party I drink at.
Yeah, that's an achievement. Oh, man. Yeah, he cracks me up. He's a funny guy. But yeah, that's what's new with me. A whole bunch of exciting outdoor activities. Super pumped.
What was the thing you had that you wanted to say that wasn't fungus related?
Oh my god,
yeah, you had
guys.
something.
Guys, I do. I have great things. So I have been on podcasts where everybody remembers I'm from Idaho. I'm the country girl, and I have spent a lot of time in the wilderness with wildlife. This particular time, I was on vacation. I'm toddling down a trail with my husband. We're headed back to the car, and I'm hearing snapping. Yeah, we're toddling. We were looking around. It was slow. It was good. And we hear snapping in the hill above us, and a mother moose with her baby nearly came down the hill on top of my husband and I. And this was one of those moments where I'm looking at it. We're way too fucking close, because in case nobody remembers from the time that I told JoJo, moose are hella dangerous. Moose are, my great uncle was the head of Fish and Game in Alaska for 30 years. So, like, knows his shit. And his big thing was, moose are bipolar. You can hit one with your car and it'll be like, don't really care, and it's a little knobbly walk down the road. And another one, you'll snap a branch half a mile away and it will come and pummel you into moose jelly. So mama moose and baby moose coming down on top of us was really dangerous, and I'm like backing up going, we're way too close, there's no way we can get away. And my husband, my amazing husband, my husband is smarter than I am. My husband goes, it's got a mooselet and I want to see it, and stays in place, in fact walks towards the moose. And yeah, I just have to call out that my incredible husband was an idiot for half a second. And then I had to stop other people from walking into the moose because, again, moose are effing dangerous. And one of the people that I stopped, I will not give the entire story because I have opinions about this person as a human being. And I will save some of that for when I am not on camera. But idiot goes after moose. Wife is talking to me, and wife goes, oh, well, female moose, they aren't really gonna do anything, right? Like, they wouldn't charge you or anything. And I told this to my husband, who's like, what the fuck? Like, mama anything wants to kill you. Mama everything wants to kill you. There isn't a mama out there that doesn't want to kill you. Are you kidding me? But this woman was absolutely convinced that her husband could go up and, like, pet baby moose, and the mama moose would just be like, isn't this a cute, like, Disney princess moment? No. No, Mama Moose is the most dangerous moose and will crush you into moose jelly. So that was my news.
Is mooselet the real word? Or
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
No, that was my husband being amazingly ridiculous, and I loved it.
Is mooselet a real word? That's good.
That's what I figured.
It's called a calf.
Oh, well, that's already taken. That's already a cow thing.
See, and I don't know. So for those of you who are watching, I don't want it to look like I was uninterested in Kelsey's story. Me and her had already talked about this on Tuesday, but I was telling this exact same story to my girlfriend, and I can't remember what word I used, and she goes, "Babe, it's called a calf." Like, I can't remember what word I used for it either, and she's like, "Babe, it's called a calf," and I was like, "I don't fucking know. It's a moose, baby."
Why would you know that?
Yeah.
Mooselet.
Good. Yeah, no, Scott called it a mooselet, and I'm like, one of the cutest things you've ever said, but now is not the moment. I need you to back up away from the mooselet and the bigger moose.
That's funny.
It was a good time. So we nearly got smashed into moose jelly, and I'm grateful that we didn't. And we also, while we were watching Mooselet, and while I was talking to Idiot's wife, the wife of the idiot,
He probably is also not smart.
who, yeah, not getting a real strong Mensa vibe off of her either.
Yeah.
A bachelor herd of elk at this point in the year, so not mating season, this point in the year, the elk are separated into herds of females and babies, and I actually saw a baby that had probably just been dropped like within an hour of when I saw it, which was really amazing. And I saw this bachelor herd of elk. All the dudes are together and they're growing out their antlers right now, so they're all in velvet. So at this point of the year, their antlers are mostly formed and they're really sensitive to the touch because they're growing bone underneath a very thin layer of skin. And a bachelor herd of elk came down upon us and was like wanting to get through us to the other side of us. And Scott was with a group of people, I was with Idiot's wife and another group of people, and I was trying to get those people to just like, please, for the love of God, don't chase the moose, or don't chase these elk, because they have antlers and they will come after you if you piss them off. My husband was with a group of people. My husband's got a big old camera on his chest because he's ready to take pictures. He realizes there's a very large elk between me and, or like here, and it wants to get to the other side of me. I should not be in its way. So my husband starts backing up off the trail and asking other people, now's the time to get off the trail. And people are just like, great. Yeah, let me just take a video of this real fast. And there's like, this elk is starting to freak out and panic because there's people all the way around it because it just wandered into a group. And if you have any idea of like, well, it came here, so it must be fine. No. Big scary thing can hurt you. Move. get out of the way, get off the trail, give the trail to the elk so it can get where it's going and doesn't go through you. So yeah, Idiot and Idiot's wife also didn't believe that elk would. They genuinely didn't think elk of any gender would attack people, which is incredibly stupid. So I was not impressed with either Mensa candidate, and I didn't like them.
That's a little sexist of you. Why can't it be Idiot and Idiot's husband? Why is it the
because the Idiot did way more to be an idiot
really?
than
Okay.
Idiot's wife did.
Okay.
It does not have to do with.
I just thought it was so weird.
I'm gonna come to Kelsey's rescue and be like, you know what? That's quite sexist of you, JoJo. Why did you have to automatically assume? How about that?
I'm just saying. Which
it was actually two men. That would get me in more trouble. I apologize. I retract my statement. That might have been rude. I'm sorry.
Real.
Oh man, that's funny. Good times. Good times.
Yeah.
Elk. There's some big fucking beasts, man. There was some big fucking beasts.
Moose are way bigger.
Oh, I know.
You don't realize until you're standing like way too close to one, and then you're like, Jesus Christ, this thing is the size of a house. It's insane. It's not quite the size of a house, but it's really big. It's way bigger than you think it is.
Yeah, I remember last time
I think it's very big.
It is
bigger than that.
It's probably bigger than that. Yeah, they're fucking huge, dude. It's insane. It's fucking insane.
When you hit one with your car, you know how you hit a deer, you know roughly where a deer hits on a car, more or less?
Constantly hitting deer, I get it.
Yeah, I know you are, with all the driving that you do. When you hit a moose, they kill the front seat passengers and sometimes the back seat passengers because they're that tall and that huge.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently,
crush the car.
Saab did a moose test where they didn't actually hit a moose.
Okay.
They dropped an 800-pound ball on the front of a car roughly where a moose hits to see if the A-frames could support hitting a moose. I don't know if the drivers of Saabs, that's how I pluralize that, right? I don't know if the drivers of Saabs often encounter moose, but Saab prepared you for it.
Was that going to be an advertising pitch?
It wasn't meant to be.
Just like Saabs hitting moose and being okay.
Maybe in Alaska. I feel like it would go over well in Alaska.
There you go.
I do know a guy that purchased a truck, tried to drive it home, hit a moose, went back, purchased another truck, tried to drive it home, hit another moose in the exact same location, the exact same mile of road. Finally, went back, bought a third truck, and was like, just ship it to my fucking house. I'm done.
Man, to have the money to go through 3 fucking trucks, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's, yeah, wow.
Yeah, it's money I don't have, to be honest.
Would have been so careful the second time.
He was not pleased. I'll just put it that way.
Again.
I don't know. Also, I would...
if you hit a moose once, maybe it's the moose's fault. If you hit a moose twice, maybe shame on you.
Well, I would think, like, if I hit a moose once, I'd be like, there's no way I'm going to hit a second moose in the same location. Like, what are the odds of that? So I am kind of on his side. Like, the odds seem pretty low. And then he did it, so I guess we're just shit at math. Aren't you glad I'm an accountant?
So, unfortunately, I would say unfortunately, because it's actually good for me. But I have some retracting to do. I trashed a specific company for a specific product on this podcast multiple times because I was very upset.
Did they not make that product?
So it was Xbox. It was Microsoft specifically. And it was about my Xbox Series 2 Elite controller that I paid entirely too much for. I'm a sales rep, all right? It was the biggest commission check I ever got in my life. I blew the shit out of that check, all right? It happened. It happened. I bought an Elite Series 2 controller, as most of you know, whenever those first came out, which I bought it when it first came out. They were like $250. Yes, that's how much I spent on one controller. And it shit out on me within 3 months. I was very upset. I had a lot of lag and drag in my left analog stick. One of the buttons were sticking. I was very upset. I managed to get it sent in about a week and a half before the warranty was running out, and they sent me a brand new one because they couldn't fix it. This one lasted longer than that, but my right bumper is completely gone, and my left analog stick has the exact same issue. Not longer as in like it's been a long time, longer as in like long enough to outrun the 3-month warranty and break down shortly after it ran out.
Ooh.
This is where I want to kind of plead with the audience here. When you have things and they don't work, sometimes it's good to be very vocal about it. Apparently, I'm not the only person that's had this issue. And so people took to the internet, like they so often do. And Microsoft actually listened because enough people. So Microsoft was gracious enough to extend everybody's warranty from 3 months to a year.
Ooh.
Which put my controller back in warranty. And I'll be getting my brand new Series 2 Elite. That's right, brand new replacement. They weren't able to fix it on Saturday. So I'm sorry, Xbox. Your controllers are still shit, apparently. But
yeah, that's
you
weird.
did the right thing. I appreciate that. So yeah, I apologize. I'm sorry, Xbox. I apologize for my rage that I displayed on some episode of the podcast. I didn't even remember doing it, but it was one of my buddies was like, wow, dude, well, I guess you got to apologize to Xbox for all the shit you were talking on your podcast. And I was like, you obviously must have watched that podcast recently. I was like, dude, I'm like 138 episodes in. I don't fucking remember talking about Xbox at all.
I was watching some Rooster Teeth stuff, and a couple of them were challenging each other, and they were like, "Do you remember what episode this joke was from?" And I'm like, and they were able to rattle it off apparently with accuracy, and I'm like,
wow.
I've been on over 100 podcasts. There is no way in hell I could tell you which one. Like, I could give you a rough season maybe that the podcast was recorded, and that's a maybe.
I'll say this. Is there one podcast that was so funny that it just stands out to you that we've done so far?
God.
There's
no way to
one
answer
for
this
me.
without sounding. It's the one that we did with Dylan where you spent so much time talking about that freaking poop thing. Like, that absolutely sticks out in my head as the most unique one.
For me, it was a combination of two things that were constantly going. One, me making fun of Kingdom Hearts because that's Dylan's favorite game, and I kept talking about how long the cutscenes were. And then two, the entire Winnie the Pooh thing that we went into.
Oh my god, that got cut. Like, the bulk of that has never been released.
The bulk of the very graphic content got cut. But for those of the viewers who are wondering, I'm not going to repeat what was said here, but I will let you know that the subject was we were very curious to find out who Rue's actual father was. And I'll leave it at that. I will leave it at that. And it got very graphic from there. And, of course, me and Brandon feed off of each other. So then it kept getting worse and worse and worse.
My head was in my hands the entire time.
Man.
And
yeah,
I was
pretty much. It made for some
appalled.
amazing Slack memes. That's for sure for a while. Oh man, I missed that podcast. It was so good, but yeah, a good majority of that got edited out. Like a lot of that podcast got edited out.
He's there, but if you don't, he's mastered the art of being so still that you can't tell if he actually disappears.
I
Botched the fuck out of that joke.
Yes, you did. I knew where you were trying to go with it, and fuck, did you stumble? Jesus Christ! Oh my god!
Oh
that
god,
was
JoJo,
that
we
was
need
rough.
you here. You're our comedian, and I just really fucked it up.
I saw you two stop moving, and then I was like, oh no. And then I don't know how much, if my saying oh no got out to you guys, but then
No,
I
it didn't at all. We literally saw you go like this with your mic, and then that was it for like the next, I don't know, 5 minutes.
That's kind of what I saw on your end. Yeah.
Yep. So it's all good.
Oops.
Yeah, that was rough. I don't think I've ever really laughed that much out of awkwardness before.
Shut up.
I was trying. I was
Fuck
trying.
Fuck off. And yes, you
trying.
goddamn have. You have been in way more awkward personal situations than what just happened here.
That's
Don't
fair.
you even give that to me. I've been there for some of those.
You have. That's fair.
One
I was
time
gone
at
for like
Chris's.
40 seconds. What could have possibly happened?
Nothing terrible. One time I was at Chris's house, and just talk about an awkward situation. One time I was at Chris's house, and we were having a party. Like, there was a group of people. We were having a party. We were playing games. We were interacting. All that.
I know
kind
what
of
a
good
party
stuff.
is.
Yeah. I'm making. I wasn't sure, so I had to explain it to you. It's been a while.
Shit.
I'm making sure the audience that has been through quarantine has,
Sure.
has an idea of what I might be talking about.
Yeah,
And
you
all of a
post-COVID
sudden,
babies.
just the strongest smell of shit. Just this smell of shit is inundating. You know when a friend rips ass and you all just like politely don't pay attention to it? Except it wasn't that. It was getting stronger and more intense and just so much more like, it's not like somebody, like
I don't
I'm
know
looking
where
at
this is going
eyes
anymore.
around the table and it's just like, somebody didn't just like accidentally fart, like somebody shat their pants. And may still actively be shitting. And we're all looking around the table trying to figure out who it is. Turns out, Chris's cat was standing right behind me with her asshole just right here, just ripping ass at the two of us again and again and again.
I was so confused at where this was going. That story was so good. I honestly was thinking, did I shit myself in front of Kelsey at some point? Is she really about to put me on blast in front of the podcast? God damn. It's like, did I shit myself? When did this happen? Holy fuck. It's been a while. Like, I was a kid. Jesus Christ. Oh, man.
And the idea that
was
you
good.
had been shitting yourself so often that didn't stand out in your memory.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, fuck. Especially when she hit with the whole, they were probably continuously shitting themselves. I'm like, bro, I must have been drunk off my fucking ass. Like, come on. Holy shit. I mean, you had me second guessing myself. I was like, man, holy fuck.
Just your cat ripping ass over my shoulder. And you were sitting right next to me. And so you were the one that broke it because you finally turned around and you're like, this cat is fucking farting. Like, that is this smell. And like the whole room just like broke and started laughing because we knew we didn't have to hold one of the other human beings accountable for the shit smell that was just, it was bad. Dead cat. No class. Sorry. No offense, but no class.
Yeah, my hardest thing to break her out of was when I first got her and then we had the other cat. I had to lock her in the bathroom because they couldn't get along, and I was trying to get her away for the moment, so I'd put a litter box in there. And like an idiot, I put the litter box in the tub because I had a very small bathroom. So she got very used to using the restroom in the tub, even with the litter box not being there, and that took forever to break that habit. And then finally I just got tired of it one night, so I fucking filled the tub up with water, and it was dark, and she came crawling in there at night, thinking she was going to take a shit, and all of a sudden I just hear, like her just slipping everywhere trying to get the fuck out of the tub. And I was like, fucking teach you to go in the fucking tub again. She's never done it again. Not a single time. Not a single time. Not number one, not number two. And she used to do both. It was fucking terrible. Yep.
Ew.
Yep. I didn't fill it up like crazy. It was like maybe like that much water.
It was enough so she'd learn a lesson.
To freak her the fuck out for sure, but
like
it wasn't like, it's not like my cat jumped in and started fucking drowning or anything. Oh, I gotta clarify for everybody watching at home.
This wasn't animal abuse.
Mistreating my animal, exactly. But yeah, she was, woo, buddy. Yep.
God, have you guys read the comedian that, God, I think it was a comedian, some guy that one day, like, he forgot to put the toilet seat down and then he fell in, and like he has this whole tweet thread of like everything that went through his head as he was going down and stuff like that, and he's like, ladies, I am so sorry, I have finally done it, I will never do. I'm gonna have to send it to you because there's no way I can do it justice. It's funny enough to make me cry every time. Like I will send it to you. I might even link it in the stuff below. It's real good.
Yeah, I just wish that I could get on a level like that. Like, goddamn, I remember being a kid and that was something I looked at, like possibly being like a comedian, just getting on a level of like storytelling like that. Like, I feel like I could tell stories pretty well, but just there's certain stories that you read like that where it's something as simple as that. You know, like most of my stories, like something cool happened and I'm very good about building it up and then hitting you with it. But like falling in a toilet, it's like fucking how? Just fucking, man, dude. It's a talent. It's a talent for sure. It is. Well, falling in the toilet is definitely a talent. It's on its own, but being able to dramatically tell a story in a way that's very funny, that's a whole nother one right there.
Yeah, our understanding of talents may be slightly different.
You know, I don't know.
I was gonna say, how are you gonna land that one, Chris? Let's go.
I was trying. Oh man, fucking. I was watching this video, and I just sent it to Kelsey not that long ago, of my daughter, because I haven't seen her in almost a week now, and they were getting her ready to take pictures for 4th of July, and they were going to do it where she was in a kiddie pool with little rubber ducks, and it was like Happy 4th of July from our pond to yours, I think is what they titled the picture. I don't know.
Dude.
So they sent me this video of them trying to get it all set up. And my daughter's getting really good at being able to like grab stuff now. So anytime she's around stuff, she wants to grab it. So she gets in, and I mean, it's like fucking, I don't know where they got all these. It's like 60 fucking rubber ducks in this kid pool with her. It's fucking insane. And she's like grabbing at them, but she doesn't understand that because she's hitting them, because she's moving her hands so fast, she's knocking them away from her. So she goes like for one, then she goes for a second one, then she goes for a third one, and all of a sudden you hear her grandma in the background go, "Well, what do you think?" And she gives out the biggest, like, I'm pissed off because I can't touch them. So she goes, "Oh!" And I was just like, no fucking way.
When you said it to me, you were like, she's getting so mad. And as I watched her start trying, I'm like, oh, she's not mad. She's just doing that. When she was finally like, I was like, oh,
she's she was pissed. Oh, it was fucking hilarious. She's, oh! And I was just like, Jesus. We did the
best.
We did the whole introducing her to fireworks, which, you know, every parent does. Obviously, very safe distance. But it was the noise more than anything that got her. The lights, she didn't care. So then the second time that we did it, we grabbed, because I have a pair of Beat Studio Pros that block out all the sound outside, and so does Megan as well. So she just grabbed hers and put them over Lily's head. And because it blocked out the sound a little bit more, she was just sitting there just staring at all the lights and stuff going on, and that was a little bit better. But she never cried. Even when we didn't have the headset on, she like clutched onto me, but she didn't cry. She was just more of like, what the fuck is happening, versus like freaking the fuck out. Because I was actually talking to my friend, and she was telling me right before we started doing the fireworks, she's like, yeah, my daughter, at this point, she's 2, and she hates fireworks. So she bawls crying every time. And I was like, oh, it sucks. So,
yeah, it's loud and scary.
yeah, so she was like, let me know how your daughter does. And I was like, I will. And so, yeah, she did pretty good. But
last week, someone launched a firework that was, I guess, exploded so close to my window or something, I shook.
Wow.
I felt it physically and thought I was in danger. I was not, as it turns out. But I couldn't figure out, like, where... It was at, like, 6 a.m., too, so I don't even... Maybe it was just a different explosion unrelated to fireworks.
Yeah, no, 6 a.m. I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, fireworks, even on the 4th of July. I'd be like, someone's trying to kill me.
But there are people. There definitely are people. At 6 a.m., yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, fireworks are terrifying, theoretically. I mean, I'm not generally scared of them, but...
So... These have been in my timeline for about a solid week now, and I've been waiting to have this conversation with Kelsey because I know that this franchise is near and dear to her heart. But have you seen all these fucking Vin Diesel family memes that have been going around about the Fast and the Furious?
I have not. Tell me.
They are amazing. So it's making fun about the whole premise of the movie, which is, oh, family. So it's like him defying a whole bunch of shit, and it's because it's family. So like for instance, one of my favorite ones, it showed like child Gamora talking to Thanos, and she's all like, Dom didn't die in the snap, and he goes, so, and she's like, but his family did. And then it shows like him driving the car through outer space and running into fucking Thanos and shit.
Okay, I love that. That's amazing.
There's so many fucking good ones. There was one where like it's like Cloud and he's talking to Dom and he's all like, be careful, it's Sephiroth. He's psychotic. And he's like, it doesn't matter. Sephiroth might have a 10-foot sword, but I've got family. He just fucking takes Sephiroth out. There's so many good ones. So this one, Joey sent to me before the podcast because we always make fun of Joey because he lives in Alabama. And we've had the whole incest conversation on this podcast before. So it says, Why is reverse cowgirl illegal in Alabama? Because you can't turn your back on family. It's so good. Oh my god. I've seen so many memes and they're so good. They're so good. I love every single one of them. Oh man. And I don't even watch the franchise, but I was looking at all these. I was like, I hope somehow, somewhere, Kelsey's seeing some of these.
Oh, now I know I need to go look them up.
Yeah, yes, they're everywhere right now. I don't know why, but they're everywhere
because
right now.
The movie came out and it was fucking dumb as shit. It's so stupid, aggressively dumb, in a great way. I had a great time watching it, but like, it elevated itself to another stupidity.
A new level of dumb.
Zone. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. That sounds great. It sounds like
no one
can
shoot a gun except the people who are like in the family.
Oh, no.
They're constantly just 1,000 machine gun bullets next to you.
Yes.
Stormtroopers, dude. Stormtroopers.
Yeah,
yes.
It gets to be they're pushing it. They're pushing credulity at this point.
That's
I feel
fair.
like you half remembered that word while you were saying it, to be honest.
Pronunciation of it is a little, rough, I guess.
fair.
It's the point where one of the characters in the movie, Tyrese's character, starts to think that they're like superheroes. He becomes aware of how much shit they've survived that doesn't make any sense, and he's like, "What if we're immortal?" And Ludacris has to talk him out of it.
I'm glad you brought that up. So I butchered it, and I got yelled at so much for this.
I love
but
that.
last time we were talking about Fast and the Furious, we were talking about those improv scenes, and I was talking about the one that I liked between The Rock and Tyrese, and I completely apparently butchered the whole thing. Like, I had literally 4 people fucking text me and were like, bro, did you not watch that movie? It's the best scene out of the movie. So I had to go watch it again. So now that you brought it up, the scene was The Rock comes walking in, and Tyrese is cooking on the grill, and Ludacris is behind him eating or taking a drink out of his water bottle. And it was supposed to be The Rock comes walking through. Tyrese says his joke at him, which is, "Oh look, better hide the baby lotion." That's all that was supposed to happen, and The Rock keeps moving forward. The Rock then responded with, improv-wise, "Better hide that big-ass forehead." And Ludacris spits water all over the fucking camera guy that's in front of him because he didn't see it coming. It's so fucking funny. Oh my gosh. He's like, "Better hide the baby lotion. Better hide that big-ass forehead." And Tyrese's character plays it off perfect because he just looks at him like, all right, that was a good one. It's so good. Yeah, I got yelled at like crazy. They're like, "Dude, that was like the best part of that fucking movie. How'd you fuck that lineup?" I was like, "Dude, I haven't seen that movie in forever."
Have I asked you how you feel about The Rock playing Black Adam?
Oh, I'm happy with that. 100%.
You are?
I'm happy with that. There's certain people. There's certain people I'm worried about getting put into the Marvel universe, and there's certain people that I'm not. And that, well, I guess he's not really Marvel, he'd be DC. But I feel that I think he would have been a great Shazam if he really wanted to. But I would rather see him play a hero, I think, than a villain, personally. So I think this is going to be interesting.
At Shazam. He can't do the like childlike innocence thing that Zachary Levi can pull off.
I agree to an extent.
Sorry,
I think
bitch.
I've seen
Did you see him in Jumanji?
Yeah, I mean, he did some pretty.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, he did some pretty interesting stuff.
Maybe I'm wrong there. No, I did not see him in Jumanji.
Oh,
you need to watch that fucking both of them.
All 3 of them. 2 or 3 of them at this point.
I think there's 2.
2?
I know there's
Go
talks
fucking
about
watch
a third
them.
one.
They're so
fucking
good.
amazing.
They're
Fucking
so
amazing.
worth your time.
Which, by the way, like fucking, I fell in love with what's her face. I can't think of her name right now. The fucking
Erin?
Yes, she is fucking gorgeous. Like, I'd never seen her in anything, and then I found out she plays Nebula.
I was gonna say you've seen her in like half a dozen things.
Bruh,
You have.
I was like, no, she is fucking gorgeous. Oh my god,
She is insanely beautiful.
I was like,
Yeah.
this would have been a way better. Obviously, I don't think she was even near around acting at this point, but she would have been a way better pick for fucking Mary Jane back in the Tobey Maguire fucking movies. I was like, where was she at? Fucking pull
I think
her
she was
out.
a child.
Probably. Exactly. Probably.
Which would have made that awkward, to be real.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, the current Mary Jane is a child, so I mean, well, I guess they're probably like in their very early 20s. Tom Holland and
Zendaya?
They're like
and Zendaya.
23 or something.
But how old was she in the
25.
first Spider-Man movie? That's the
Zendaya's
question.
24.
But how old was she in the first Spider-Man movie? That's the question. The very first Spider-Man movie.
19?
You think?
Wait, how old is who? Zendaya or
Zendaya in the first Tom Holland Spider-Man film. The first time she shows up. I wonder how old she is. I would have to say
how long
very
was that
close to
movie?
18.
5 years?
Very close to 18. I would
30
have
years.
to say.
So 20. She was like 20.
20? Okay.
1920.
Okay. Close. Close. That's all I'm saying. Close.
A horrible small voice went through my head that said legal, and I'm like, nope, that's not great. That's terrible. Everybody,
Speaking of-
everybody
So that's
shame
also
me.
the
because
age
That's
Kirsten
bad.
Dunst was at the time of the first actual Spider-Man movie, like normal Spider-Man movie. But then Karen Gillian would have been like 15.
Okay. That's fair. Makes sense.
There you go. And British.
I will say
She would have
this.
been British.
So, Netflix, I talked about this on the podcast, just did a review show about it. Fear Street, the R.L. Stine books that they're doing the 3 horror movies of. One comes out every single week. One just came, or part 2 just came out, and I need to watch that and do a review show on that one too. Which, by the way, JoJo, me and you need to get together on the Resident Evil series that just came out as well. Have you looked into that yet?
No, I didn't.
Super upset. I'm not going to talk about the content at all because I've only seen the first episode. 4 episodes, but all 4, 28 minutes a piece. Pretty
Okay,
pissed
so
off
like-
about that. I feel like we could have
Yeah.
got like 8 episodes. That's kind of shitty in my opinion. 4 episodes, 20 minutes a piece. Bruh,
That's
kind of
what they did for Castlevania also. Maybe it's like testing the water the same way.
But
I don't
still,
know.
I feel like with Resident Evil, we could have got something more than that. But not my point. So, speaking of kids and movies, there was a very controversial scene, I feel, in this movie. I've seen a lot of people talk about it, and even I talked about it on the review show. The one moment that kind of really took me out of the movie, the Fear Street, part 1 at least, is that there's like a very sexually charged scene between the main chick, her girlfriend, her friend, and her little brother, and then this guy who just decides that I guess he's going to masturbate in the bathroom. I don't know. But it's all happening at the same time. It was one of those like, we're probably going to die soon. Let's fuck it type deal. That's fine because it's done as an old school slasher. Like it's supposed to feel like an old school slasher. And there was sex in all those movies. And I remember watching a Comic Book Men podcast where they actually interviewed the guy who played the original Freddy Krueger. And he's talking about how like the horror film genre was kind of like the laughing stock of the movie world. Like a lot of people didn't see that going anywhere. So it was normal to have sex scenes in the movies because that was another way that they could draw audience, which makes sense. Completely get that. So most old school slashers, you'll see a lot of sex scenes. Jason, all the camp counselors are fucking while he's drowning. Freddy, there's a sex scene in every single one of those movies. It's common, very common. So I figured there was going to be one at some point. My problem is that they're all high school teenagers. All the actors and actresses are above age. I stopped the movie right away and checked that before I finished watching the movie. I was like, this is a bunch of kids, I can't watch this shit. Because we're like shirts off at brawls type deal. I was like, I'm not watching a bunch of fucking kids in their underwear. Like, no. I paused it, checked it. I was like, okay, cool. They're all above age, whatever. I'll finish watching the movie then. But it took me out of the movie because the entire movie, you're made to feel that these are teenage kids because they're in high school. Like, they're all in high school. And they're doing this in their high school. Like, this is happening in their high school. And I was like, that's just like a bad call on whoever decided to do that. Like,
it's an homage to the part of King's It that they cut out.
Well, and that's what I talked about. Exactly. That's what I talked about in the review show. For those of you who don't know, because I'm a huge It fan, in the books, there's a huge sex scene between the kids, which is even more weird because there's like 5 boys and 1 girl. So they all take turns having sex, and it's like a way for them to mentally and physically cope. And it was the girl's idea. So it wasn't like before people start wondering if this was like some kind of big like rape scene or something. It wasn't. It wasn't meant to be like that at all. But it was a very weird thing for fucking Stephen King to write. 100%.
And wrote it, so it's like a fake girl he made up.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
cool.
Exactly. So, but it was like, hey, we're all freaked out. This is a way for us to cope. And then that's what happened. That being said, It was so weird that they decided not to put that in any version of the fucking movies that came out afterwards, the original or the new ones. Good call. Good fucking call. Right. This was very weird. Now, to be fair, it stopped before any like actual sexual scenes actually happened, which is great. But still, like, you see these young girls in fucking brawls, and I'm just like, this is fucking weird, bro. I was like, how old are these actresses? And like I said, when I found out they were of age, I was like, okay, it feels better, but still, like, this is like, you're supposed to feel like these are high school kids. That was the first one.
Okay, so you're worried that they're sexualizing. I understand. Okay.
Yeah. So the second issue that I had with the movie is that the whole crux of it is that not the main chick, but her girlfriend is being tracked by this witch because she accidentally touched one of her bones. Like, her fucking grave was like kind of everywhere, we'll put it that way. And so she touched one of the bones, so the witch wants her dead. Like, because it gave her a vision of the witch and all these dark arts and shit she was doing, the witch wants her dead. That was the cool part of the movie to me, because they did it in two different interesting ways. One, the little brother is the person who's kind of like a conspiracy theorist, and he figures all this shit out. And so then he starts matching it up to all these murders. So where it's like, this town's always plagued by murders, and it's actually, in fact, this witch is possessing one person and using them as a vessel, and she can continue to use that vessel even years and years after that person has died. So she keeps bringing them back and using them as a vessel. So it's like all these big murders that happen, she's bringing all those killers back and using them as vessels to go hunt the shit down, which was cool as shit, because like he went into stories about each one of them, and that's what the other movies are going to be. So they started with the latest one, and then now they're going to move back to the murder before that, then the murder before that, which I thought was really cool.
Cool.
That being said, another interesting thing is none of these killers are creatures. They're all humans. One of the biggest finders for them, as far as to be able to track the girl down, was her blood. I thought that was very interesting, because they were using her blood to like make marks and stuff to like lead them in wrong directions and shit like that, because they found out that the killers weren't after them, because they were in the woods, and like they completely bypassed all them and went straight to try to kill her. And that's when the little brother figured it out. He's like, they're not after us, they're after her, so we need to figure this shit out. So they did like all this shit with
How do we
blood,
save her?
which I thought was a very interesting thing to use, considering the fact they're not using creatures. So I thought that was pretty cool too. This is where my issue is. They end up finding out that there was a person who touched a witch's bone. She died, but she was resuscitated on site. So she was only dead for 2 minutes. So the witch considered her as dead, and therefore the curse was broken. So naturally, we have to find some way to kill her and bring her back to life, is where their heads go. It was this whole... I'll start with saying this. I do not feel that this was at all needed to be filmed whatsoever, this whole fucking scene. But they go into this whole spiel of getting all these pills and drugs, and whenever I say pills, I mean she was supposed to do 3 different doses, and they're explaining how these pills work. These will get you high, make you feel good, da 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 da. These will bring you down, make you feel really sick. You're gonna start vomiting. You need to wait exactly 5 minutes before you start taking these pills. Like, they went into this whole elaborate story about these pills. It was very hard for me to watch a scene of 2 young teenage girls. And once again, the movie makes you perceive that they're teenage girls, where one is sitting there and the other one is shoving roughly 20 to 25 pills per batch into this girl's mouth.
Yeesh. To
get her to OD, so that way they could then use adrenaline pins to bring her back to life. That was the plan.
That sounds really uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable. The biggest reason why it was even more uncomfortable is that the killer interrupts the 3rd dose. One of the killers interrupt a 3rd dose, so they just drown her in a fish tank. So it was not necessary at all to do that scene. Literally at all. It literally had no impact other than, let's watch us shove a whole bunch of pills down a young girl's throat. There was literally nothing else. They literally drown her in a lobster tank.
Are you there to watch a movie where you think that same girl is going to be, like, fucking stabbed or something? Like, why is this
But see, that's different, though. The line is because they talk about the fact that they know how these drugs work because they had a friend that overdosed on them. So they go into this whole suicide talk first. Yeah, that's the problem. So you hear this whole suicide conversation, then you see this other chick fisting fucking pills down this chick's throat at time and time and time again. It's a lot to fucking take in, all for her to just get drowned in a fucking fish tank. I was like, this scene was very, like, unnecessary. Like, stupid unnecessary. And I'm not one of those people that normally like gets taken out of a movie. There's a lot of shit I've watched where I was like, it's a fucking horror movie. Like Silent Hill. I just went back and watched Silent Hill the first time. The last death scene in that, I'm not going to say it because it's way too gruesome to talk about on internet. But holy fuck, that last death scene is insane. And I was just like, it's horror film is what it is. This was really hard to watch. Really hard to watch. I feel like if they were adults, maybe it wouldn't have hit me so hard. And maybe it's just because I'm a dad now. I don't know. But it was super hard to watch that. I was like, man, if the second movie has any kind of scenes like this, I'm not going to be able to watch the third one. It's just physically not going to happen. It was hard for me to get through the first one. There was multiple times where I had to stop and be like, God damn, like fucking, I do not like watching this at all. I mean, not to mention when the chick's sitting there like throwing up and shit and they're grabbing pills and still shoving them in her mouth. And I'm like, stop, please, just stop. It was rough. It was rough.
They probably wouldn't go back to the force feeding a girl pills
I would hope not.
Right away.
I would hope not. Especially since in the second one, from the trailers I've seen, the main chick is the little redhead girl, Max, from Stranger Things.
Oh, God.
So I'm excited to see her. Which, by the way, that was the funniest part of the first movie, was that it starts out in a mall, and guess who they have working at the cash register in the mall? Fucking Robin. I was like, she's typecasted as a fucking mall cashier at this point. Poor Robin. And she dies within like 10 minutes. I was all like, well, I don't know what's worse, working retail at a mall or fucking being dead. So I was like, poor Robin. She's never going to get out of this. From fucking Captain Ahoy ice cream to a fucking bookstore. I was like, oh my God.
Oh,
poor girl.
Poor thing.
Poor thing. But yeah. Anyways, go ahead and wrap it up here. If you guys, this weird note to leave out on, if you want to know any more about that movie, like I said, the review show is up. I talk about it. There's a lot of weird stuff that went on, but there were some great parts about the movie. I think I rated it like a 6 out of 10 is what it finally was, my final rating on it. I think I started out with like a 7, and then after explaining my thoughts and views, I quickly went down to a 6. So 6 out of 10. Hopefully the second one's better. Yeah, and then look forward to the Resident Evil stuff coming out too. That will be when I thought there were going to be like 8 to 10 episodes, I was planning on doing a review show per episode. We will just do a review show on the series as a whole because realistically it's 80 minutes worth of content. So no point in doing every single episode. So yeah, be on the lookout for that too. But other than that, make sure you like, subscribe. I said all this at the beginning of the show, but like, subscribe, comment. That's the best way to help us out.
Please.
Share us around, especially if you have people who you think would like some of the same content that you like, because we're a variety channel and we've got tons of fun stuffs to watch. Tons of fun stuffs. So check it out.
I'm playing Little Nightmares right now. I
She's
scream and flip the fuck out in the most recent
I watched
one.
that. That was so good. And I will say this, I didn't think you were going to do it at the part that you did it. I'm not going to lie. I figured it would be more of the act of what that character was trying to do to you and why you were freaking out, not what happened afterwards, because I'm not going to spoil it. Go watch it. But yeah, it was pretty funny to watch Kelsey freak the fuck out, especially when she fucks up and has to deal with it again for the second time.
Yeah, was not
good.
pleased. Was not happy
good.
about that. I was legitimately very uncomfortable. I don't know if you can read it in my body language,
wow.
but I was like,
Absolutely
I am.
Absolutely good. It was great. It was great. So yeah, you got that going on. Me and JoJo are still champing it on Resident Evil 6. Yeah. Hey, I like the way I edited the first episode of our second batch playthrough, though. It literally starts with us sitting there talking and then me going, hey, there's a train, and JoJo going, what? Bam! And getting fucking just steamrolled by a train.
Oh my God.
That was so good.
That's a bad hour for me.
I was just walking down. I'm like, oh, there's zombies in the darkness. JoJo's like, I can't see. I was like, 12 o'clock? 2 o'clock? There's a train? What? Bam.
All the time.
Oh, it was so good. You just see Leon get fucking mowed down. I was like, no. JoJo!
Wrecked on a train.
It was great. It was good times. I can't wait till we get to the ambulance scene.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to put a death counter of how many times you died to the ambulance. that
Yeah,
went the
just
exact
because
same
that's
place
a real vehicle
every single time. Like, it literally gets to the point where I'm like, JoJo, go anywhere else but where you're going. The ambulance is going to go in the same place every time.
They're just like animations you get caught in, and you can't get out of the animation. And you're just, man.
I mean, to be fair, in JoJo's defense, it was very hard to figure out. I still don't know what triggered that animation to happen. Literally no fucking clue. But it was just funny because there were so many times, and the last time you die, like, it was like the license plate hit you, and you were like, "What? I was not next to an ambulance." Oh, it was so good.
Yeah, that's a game. What's that?
Yeah, so you got that going on. Me and James playing through Cuphead, which has been absolutely fucking fun. And then obviously we got DFU episodes going on whenever the Little Nightmares is not going. Review shows and verdicts. I appreciate all the love on the Yuffie DLC that we got. That was a lot of fun for me and JoJo to do the verdict on that. So a lot of people enjoyed our thoughts and views on that a lot, especially us to talk about the scenes. And they're all like, we were so excited to hear what you guys wanted to know about blank, 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 because I'm not going to ruin it for Kelsey. Blank, blank, blank. And then we went to go talk about it, and we basically had no views on what happened with blank, 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 because it was super fucking confusing for everybody. So, yeah, we had nothing else to add to that. But yeah, anyways, like, subscribe, comment. We'll see you next week. Bye, guys.